Are you ready to be daring? There are some people over here who are. Okay, all right. For the rest of us, are you ready to be daring? Ooh, I think they win the contest now. This morning we're starting Daring Greatly, a book series. Somebody asked me after the first service, well, why would I join a book group if I could just come here on Sunday morning and hear what you have to say? I said, because please, Lord, let there be some more wisdom than just what I have to say about this book. You know, the collective wisdom of the community. That's why we do book studies together. That's why we do home groups. There's still room. Thank you to our facilitators who are doing that. So really what I want to ask you is, besides daring greatly, are you ready to give up the illusion of who you think you are and step into the authentic truth of who you are? Yes. Well, that means we got to give up a few things. I appreciate your fast yes. We'll jump on to point number 2. Because yes, willingness is the first step. And then it's about moving beyond lip service. Can I get an amen? It is about living it. It is about putting into practice these principles that we talk about. In Unity, we say there's 5 basic principles, and the 5th one is just do it. It's great to know that there's one presence and that lives within you, and that our thoughts create the experience we have in our reality. Prayer and meditation are our tools to help us navigate those experiences. But the 5th one says, who cares if you know all those and you don't do anything about it? So we're here to do something about it. Daring Greatly is a book by Brené Brown. How many of you have seen one of her TED Talks or seen her interview with Oprah, or maybe read one of her articles in the Oprah magazine? Can I have a little higher? All right, good. I'm introducing you guys to some new folks. She and the research that's in this book is very exciting. Because one of the things I love about her is she doesn't say, believe me, because it's what I think you should believe. She says, believe me because the only way I believe what I'm about to say is this is what the research proves. So this book is going to work with a little bit of our mind. And it's going to ask us to go, well, I don't think that's really true. Or, no, I'm not willing to accept that. Well, but the research shows. So if we are really, truly going to dare greatly, she says the book is going to teach us how the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, and parent and lead our lives. Live, love, parent, and lead. So we're going to explore. Because the truth is, whether you have children biological or not, the children of the world and the children across the way are all our children. And what makes a difference in who we are and what I believe we leave as our legacy is not only the world we live for our children, but the way we have prepared our children to navigate the world that we live in. So that's a lot about Brené Brown's Daring Greatly. She's most famous for a TED Talk, Technology, Entertainment, and Design. TED Talk is on the internet. If you've never looked it up, Google it, TED. It's on YouTube. They'll take you to YouTube. And there are many different speakers about many different topics. Be careful or you'll be there 3 hours and you won't realize it. But she's one of those people who were just in the right place at the right time. PhD on vulnerability. And so she gives a talk. And I believe it's at the University of Houston. And it catapulted her into stardom. Love to have brought her here as one of our guest speakers. She's in so much demand, and she has 2 teenage children. Guess what her fee is? $25,000. And she's very clear. She's very clear. She said, I could not possibly take all the invitations I have. So that's one of the filters. You think she's gotten over her scarcity consciousness? Come on, one more time. You think she's gotten over her scarcity consciousness? Yeah. I mean, come on. She sat down with Oprah. If you've ever seen one of her interviews with Oprah, she's just giddy as a schoolgirl, and she's talking about her topic and her expertise. And Oprah's like, I had an aha, and they do the high five. And Brené Brown goes, I just got a high five from Oprah. She's so human. She's so human. And she asks us, though, in this book, some of the things that we don't really want to be asked. And I love it. She starts out in the book, in the introduction, and says, I found myself doing my research for my PhD, shame and guilt, and discovering that the solution to that was to live in a place of vulnerability. She said, I don't even believe in vulnerability. But that's what the research shows. To be willing to be open and trusting. That seems pretty simple, right? If I had $100, I have $100 for somebody who's going to stand up and say, I'm 100% open and trusting. You were open and trusting that you would be welcome no matter what time you arrived, right, honey? Open and trusting. Well, we in Unity have a teacher who was open and trusting. Anybody want to guess his name? Oh, my heavens to Betsy. I'm going to have to show you. I mean, can you get any more open and trusting than surfing Jesus without a surfboard? I mean, come on, take a look at it. He's not only walking on water, he's surfing on the water. Now, I can't promise that you'll be surfing on water with no surfboard, but metaphysically, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do over the next few weeks, is that we're going to come together and learn some basic tools that may challenge just a little bit of what we think we are already an expert in. Because, everybody wants to be an expert, right? Yeah, everybody wants to be an expert. And yet, when we reach a certain level of expertise, we've learned to stop listening. And so we're not going that far, because we're back to that concept of the collective wisdom of the whole group. So I hope you have your card with you. Everyone should have a small index card. If you don't, if you'll just lift your hand, our ushers will help us out. And if you need a pen, please raise your hand as well. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you my favorite science fiction vulnerability character. By the way, Jesus is not the science fiction character. Anybody out here like Star Trek? Trekkies? We have more Trekkies than we do Brené Brown fans. We'll have to change that. When we watch Star Trek and we watch Spock, remember he's half human and half Vulcan. He is in a constant inner journey of which side is he identified more with. In one of the latest movies, Star Trek Into Darkness, he tells this story of how when he was about to die, he completely identified with the Vulcan side and just was like, this is just what's going to happen. And he said, but then when he lost his friend, his human side, that part that felt love, that part that was vulnerable in him, was the side that came. And he didn't call either one good or bad, right or wrong. But don't we sometimes wish we could be Vulcan and just stand over here? And yet Brené Brown says that, well, it's like the teaching of Jesus. One of those teachings, I think, sometimes that we sweep under the carpet a little bit too much. For where your heart is, there your treasure is also. Where your heart is. Wholehearted living is what Brené Brown calls it. So that's what I want you to write at the top of your little card. Wholehearted living. And I have a couple questions for you. And all you've got to write is yes or no. Please don't write the answer that you think the teacher wants. Write the answer that's the first one that comes to your mind. When you hear the question, yes or no. Number 1, I have let go of what people think of me. I like honesty so much.
Is there a middle ground?
Nah, yes or no. Number 2, I've let go of perfection. Y'all are so much more talkative than 9 o'clock, I tell you. Number 3, I commit to let go of numbing and powerlessness. I have committed to letting go of numbing and powerlessness. Number 4, I've let go of scarcity and fear of the dark unknown. Number 5, I've let go of the need for certainty. Yeah, you can count me on that one. Number 6, I've learned to let go of comparisons.
I'm not doing too well on this. So there's got to be a bright spot here somewhere, right?
I'll tell you what Brené Brown's score was when we finish. We're almost done. I know.
Please hurry.
Number 7, letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. I know, that's a complex one. Letting go, I have let go of exhaustion, as a status symbol, and productivity as self-worth. It's a yes or no question. Gotta love these negotiating unity folk. That must be where my kid gets it from. Number 8, I've let go of anxiety as a lifestyle. Oh, we really need to have this on a soundtrack. Number 9, I've let go of self-doubt and supposed to. And number 10, letting go of being cool and always in control. Now, Brene was able to answer only 2 for 10 as yes. She's all, right, the woman who wrote the book only scored a 2 out of 10. And she worked with her therapist and said, this is going to be excruciating. And the therapist said, no, this is going to be exquisite. So that's your first homework assignment, is choose to take your card home and see wherever you are as exquisite, not excruciating. Now, in 6 weeks, if you're still there, well, we'll have a meeting. Life is an adventure. And in order to live wholeheartedly, we live that space, we live from that place. Because one of the beliefs we have eliminated in our life is that of there's not enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough food, not enough car, not enough whatever. Anything that goes to not enough. And I know we say that a lot here in Unity, and it is Prosperity 2015. I want us to shift from focusing on what we're not and what we don't want to an awareness of what Brene calls enough is enough. I already have enough right here in this present moment. Enough is enough. Where my heart is, so is my treasure. Enough is enough.
Amen.
It is enough. And that then gets to be extracted to, I am enough. But we'll go back. Enough is enough. Here are a couple of things we're going to discuss over the next few weeks as we talk about some skills that we're going to cultivate. Here's what I said at 9. We're going to cultivate skills that are going to build our surfboard. Now, it might be, I just thought of that song. Something about gas for my Ford, keep me surfing for the Lord. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what it has to do with anything, but that was pretty weird. So maybe our surfboard is invisible. Because who's to say his wasn't right under the water and we just didn't know? We're going to build our own surfboard. So we're going to cultivate a couple of skills like authenticity, because when we're authentically who we are, we do not care what someone else thinks. That's the truth. When we are authentically ourselves, and that doesn't mean that the ego is silent. She calls it the hustler. It means that it's not driving the bus. What's driving the bus is the truth of who we are, and we're able to quiet the hustler. We're going to cultivate self-compassion because that's how we let go of the power of perfection in our lives. We're going to cultivate resilient spirit. That's how we let go of needing to numb our emotions when what we want, how we want it, how we expected it isn't happening. We don't have to numb. We don't have to identify with being powerless when we have cultivated a resilient spirit. Sign me up. We're going to cultivate gratitude and joy. It's one of the ways that we truly do look at shifting our scarcity awareness, just like we did in our meditation this morning. Gratitude. Gratitude. What if the whole world, no matter where they were, what they were doing, how much they had to eat, could simply be grateful for the next breath? The vibration on the planet would shift. I don't know if we could handle it. We're going to cultivate intuition and trusting faith, creativity, play, and letting go. We're going to cultivate calm and stillness, cultivate an awareness of meaningful work, and laughter and song and dance. At our 30-year anniversary party, a couple people told me later, they were talking about you in the corner. Talking about me, I just as soon been behind the fake tree in the corner. They said, well, that's what they were so surprised about. You were on the dance floor, Jennifer. They were saying they couldn't believe you were dancing. I thought, heavens, I've not shown that I have cultivated laughter and dance as a way of letting go of my need to be always in control and cool. That may seem very simple, but if that's the only one you took on for the next 6 weeks, would your life be different? If you were willing to say, song and dance make a difference in my life, because I'm free, I'm willing to dare greatly. I invite you to join me on the journey as we discover what it means to truly live from a place of courage, from a place of heart, in wholehearted living. Namaste.